It's that time of the year. Football, playoffs, birds, victorious Mondays. Let's go.
From the city of brotherly love. All day, baby. You know that.
Let's hunt.
If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground.
Where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight.
Get the stuff there.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you're here?
Let the games begin.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. This is where they die.
Money is nice, championships are better.
Hey, man, I was just looking at those highlights, and man, it was magic last year. Jesus, Saquon Barkley looks unbelievable. This year, are the Eagles back? Are we getting it back? We'll talk about it. Welcome, everybody, back for another episode of Victory Mondays. I am the host. I'm the CEO. They call me Moss Money. And I got my guy with me, Ernie B. What's up, bro?
It's happening, man. Happy to be back. Little two-game recap for us. That's always fun, especially when they're in two completely different lights. After the conversation we had, it's always fun to circle back. And it seems like for some reason our schedules and I don't know what we call it, I really don't want to use the word climax, but the climax of the season seems to be aligning with our schedules in the show. So it's fun.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think you kind of talked about it, right? We had coming off that 3-game skid now with a dominating performance against the Raiders. Shutout. First shutout, I think, since 2018 against Washington, I think I saw it was. Some of the names from that team. The mainstay. The pillar, BG was on that team.
You say Nick Foles and his incredible run that we had there, but yeah.
Yeah, look at his teams. Timmy was on that team. Fletch was there. Michael Bennett. You remember Michael Bennett and his tight ass shoulder pads?
Trade, with the baby shoulder pads. Wow. The trade with the Patriots. I actually thought that we fleeced him at the time. A young RDB thought that we were on top of the world after that. I was like, ooh, got him. Got him for like a 7th and a ham sandwich.
Mr. Jenkins was out there. Bradham was there. LeBlanc. Rasul still playing. Maddox still out there. That's all. And Hicks are those names that most people would be familiar with.
Jalen
I don't
Mills.
remember the safety Graham. Was that Corey Graham or just regular
Corey Graham? Yep, Corey Graham for the Super Bowl
Okay.
year. Yeah, he played nickel for us a little bit. He was kind of inside outside. I mean, Jenkins was really the mainstay of every position on the field whenever they needed it. But Graham was pretty solid for us that year. The 18 year was that was the year Alshon decided to let it go through the hands, and Marshawn took that house for us, and that was brutal. So, is this 2018 or is this 2023? Which one is it? History's always bound to repeat itself.
Yes, sir. So we did get a shutout against the Raiders, 31-0. I think let's go into our first kind of takeaways and kind of things that I kind of want to talk about. But first takeaway from this game, and then we'll go into, overreactions of what kind of is happening or kind of in the media a little bit. But, my first takeaway from this game that kind of stood out to me was, this man. Oh, guys, got some juice left. It's got some juice left. I want to give it to again. I want to talk about the pillars. I think in the last damn near 2 decades of this team, got to give respect to the OG, triple OG, BG. Still got a little bit of the gun action too, boy. At 37, became the oldest player in Eagles history to record a sack, not 1, but 2. Ah, I mean, shout out to BG, man. But I mean the whole defense, right? Every time you get a shot, anytime you get a shutout, and I think they held the Raiders to under, I think it was 75 yards of total
75
offense.
total yards of offense.
Yeah, total,
Best
yeah.
defensive display since 1955. So
And
they
and
showed
what
up.
that brings to light to me is that good teams beat bad teams, right? That's what I felt and I saw from that takeaway, right? Kind of reoccurring thing. We dominated, we shut them out, and the backups got to play damn near the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Good teams beat bad teams, and it was led by the defense, and that's what you need late. Run game and defense, right? That's
Yep.
what you need late. Once we get started to the playoffs, if you can somehow find that stride with that formula, you can go deep into the playoffs, and hopefully that sets us up for future success. What you got, man? Kind of takeaway you got from this game?
I mean, I gotta touch on BG, man. I mean, especially like these were inside snaps. He did not play the edge this game. He played defensive tackle. And I think at this point in his career, you know, we can go back to the Jim Schwartz NASCAR package days. We were just talking about 2018. And I think you can explain a little bit better. He did line up inside then, but he's playing true defensive tackle now in the 4-5-2 front that they have.
He don't got no wheels. That's why he can't get on that edge.
You know, so I thought that he performed really well, but I think he brought that juice that we were expecting from him. And it just took a little bit of time for him to get back to, you know, where I think we wanted him at. You know, not having an offseason program, you get that kind of repertoire when you are the veteran that BG is and what he has with the franchise. I mean, I'm just happy to see him, you know, even playing at this point, and especially to contribute is awesome. I gotta say my biggest takeaway is the defense, man. This is a Super Bowl caliber defense. They are that good.
I agree.
And the fact that, you know, Jahad Campbell's getting limited snaps, I think is a good thing. I don't think people should look at that as a bad thing. I think it's because Nakobe Dean's playing that well. You should not take him off the field.
I would be surprised if he doesn't get the Pro Bowl.
Any bit of hope for this team is on the defensive side of the football. And that's not just for this year. That's moving forward.
I agree. Yeah,
they have one of the best defenses in football, and they can turn this offense around however they want to. And I think that from a roster standpoint, to be in today's league, to see where things are shifting, and to be that young and that talented on defense, and the way that these contracts are going to run out, you know, with Carter Smith, then Mitchell DeJean. I mean, it's almost stacked perfectly. They can take care of everybody in due time, and they will.
You think? Hold on. So we're good to pause you right there, because I do feel that Mitchell is putting himself in rare air where he's being considered, you know, top 3 best corner in the league. Do you really think they can do it all? Because he's got to get paid.
I think he's going to continue on this more Darius Slay arc. I don't think he's going to really get his league-wide respect until he's
really?
Years in the league. And it's interception based. He's not. He's what he's doing from a coverage
Revis though.
Is top 5.
Revis.
But what's that?
Like Revis didn't get picks.
Well, I think that Revis also followed and did special things in a season in which, you know, it was a little different. I'm not ready to stamp Mitchell in his second year.
No, I'm not saying he's Revis, but I'm just saying from the
in the future, I think that yes, his contract is going to be handled just like Carter's. It's going to be top of the year. You know what I mean? You know, great comment here, but yes, Davis will get paid too. He's earned that. I think he's been the best defensive lineman on the team this year. Obviously, Carter's the best, but Davis has been the best. Ojomo's had a really good year, but Davis has really stepped up this year. I don't care about the 13th overall Kyle Hamilton stuff. You can go back to BG on that. I think Jordan Davis is a legitimate nose tackle in this league, and I think he's perfect for what we want to do on defense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think down the road, obviously Mitchell's going to be an issue contractually. I think he's going to have to be paid at the top of his position. But I think he doesn't get the league-wide national respect, mainly from the media, until he gets that payday. I do think he's that guy. I just don't think we're going to see that because of the lack of interceptions, the lack of the production. Now, if you really look at the true stats and the true data, you know, the nearest defender stuff and all that, he's fantastic. He's at the top of the league. But I think you have to be in the know to know Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, I don't think. I think the stat that's floating around. I know all the numbers, but the big stat that's floating around. He's the only corner with X amount of snaps that haven't given up a touchdown yet, if I'm not
I think it's like
mistaken.
500 snaps and no
Yeah,
tugs,
something
something like
silly.
that. It's
Something silly.
fantastic. I mean, it
Yeah,
really is.
yeah.
But I don't want to take away from what Cooper's done either. I mean, I think Cooper is a invaluable piece to this defense. Vic has kind of iterated that in certain ways.
Hmm.
But I think that they have this top two duo like they did back in the early 2000s. I think this
Yeah,
is the Sheldon Brown, Lito Shepard. They're good to go at that position for a while coming.
yeah. Shout out to some new comments out there. Joe Degrassi P2J, what's up, bro? Dan Brady comes in. I know I'll put you up there. Crazy picture, bro. Woo. Do you think the Eagles have a chance in how to beat my Bills in Buffalo?
It'll be a great
You know,
game.
it'd be a
Great
really
game.
good game. It was great here, right? I was actually at that game when we went in overtime and
Fantastic. It was a
we beat
beautiful.
your Buffalo.
It was an amazing
Probably
game.
probably the best game I think I've ever seen live.
Oh,
Because I got this.
it was beautiful. I mean
Yeah,
that game was to see that
not only
live.
did I get to see Hertz rise to the occasion in terms of being a gamer, but I also saw on the other side how really good Josh Allen is up live in person. It
So
was sick.
special. So
It
special.
was sick. Yeah, he was special.
And to duel it out like that, and then to see the recognition that the two get, it's always
Yeah,
awesome. And
yeah,
then it's always, well, Hurts had the better team. Okay,
yeah.
we
Well, he
can,
did. That's all good.
you know me, I'm an Allen guy. Love Allen.
Yeah, yeah. I
Love
love
Allen.
Allen too.
So
Yeah,
I'm the first to tell you he's the best quarterback in the league, most talented quarterback in the league. I will say most talented. Mahomes is, they have some issues over there, but they'll be fine.
yeah. So, to answer your question though, I think Ernie B's point, good game, high scoring
Great
game.
game. Great game. Hopefully it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, Bills, I think showed that they're still legit because they went to Foxborough and beat New England.
They shouldn't be. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think we should put a team like New England above Buffalo until they dethrone Buffalo completely. So in my opinion, Buffalo is still the AFC East to lose. I know the Patriots are probably going to win the division, but who's last standing, in my opinion, is what matters.
Yeah. So, I agree. And then we saw, I think that's Marcus, AFR game plan. I think he got a new handle there. I think that's him. Not
You
sure.
want to hit me with the wide nine NASCAR? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
NASCAR package, Jim Schwartz.
All right. Takeaway number 2 from this game. That I think we can. Yeah, it's me. All right, cool. That's what I figured. I figured that. Second thing that we can take away from this game, I think, we talked about the defense. We talked about BG. Don't know. Be honest. You got something for me? I was all on the defensive side.
Well, I mean, I think we should go back and just talk about the way that the offense has changed with the Chargers game as well. I mean, the Chargers game plan to the Raiders game plan was the same thing. It's just one was executed better by the quarterback than the other.
All right, well then we'll go with that one, and I'll pull him up here because it was kind of like a overreaction, but I think it ties into it. As Kevin Patula figured it out.
I don't think he's figured it out. I know that Sirianni's more involved in the offensive game plan, starting with the Chargers game, and it looked bad. But now it's, after the Raiders game, things are positive. But it was a more Greg Cosell, one of the best in the tape watching game, if not the best, deemed it the most NFL-like scheme that they've had to date so far. It looked very pro-like. It was a very pro-like offense. There were clear out routes. It was a lot more on Jalen than had been previously. And while there were a lot of turnovers, I still like the fact that he was ripping the ball like he was. And I think that seam throw to AJ there at the end, the dagger in the game, in my opinion, I think that was that kind of throw we're looking for from him. Not just the deep ball down the sideline. While he was off on that, he seems to be a little bit better. But where are the throws across the middle? Where's the timing in the offense? Why does it seem so off, considering that these guys have been together for so long? And I think that we saw in an instance where we cannot overreact because it was the Raiders. But like you hinted at earlier, they did what they were supposed to do. And that's what matters. They did what they were supposed to do. This team was supposed to win this football game. They handled business. The backups got to go in for the fourth quarter. This is as good of a scenario for this game as we could have asked for.
Yeah, you know what? I'm on the other side of that. I think he's starting to figure it out. I've seen some stuff here that are kind of people are kind of picking apart. I mean, if you look at the numbers from this past game, what it was 8 and 9 in scoring possessions, 10 out of 13 on third downs. They were balanced. I think they ran Saquon a little bit too much, a little heavy, looking to break one. He was close, but I mean, he didn't play in the fourth quarter. He had over 20-something carries, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but why give the guy the flowers when it was already put out that it was hinted at that he doesn't have as much say? All the thing is Sirianni's more involved in the game plan, and all of a sudden the offense changes and becomes more complex. In my opinion, my flowers don't go to Patullo. It goes to the organization for figuring it out. It's not just one guy. You can't give this guy the flowers, just because they had a good game against the Raiders. I mean, I think that.
Well, they improved against the Chargers too, right?
It did. I mean, from a scheme standpoint, yes. I mean, Hurts did not execute the game plan to the best degree, and they were still in it till the end. They did go to overtime. They had a chance to win the game. So I'm not as sour on that game as I think most were. It sucked to watch. Don't get me wrong. As a fan, it was terrible. But as a logical thinker in this sport, it wasn't that bad. And when they come back and do what they're supposed to do against the Raiders, it gives me hope. I understand it was 15 passes. I understand it was, whatever. But he did what he was supposed to do and what he was given.
I mean, it's kind of weird. That sweet spot, right, for Hurts, 25 to 30 passes. That's kind of where you want.
Yeah, and then 40 against the Chargers. That overtime goes into that, so you got to take that into account. But that we've talked about this over the years. That's too much. That's not the way this team is built. And it's not to say that the guy can't throw 40 passes a game. It's just the fact that the way the offensive line is built to run, you have Saquon Barkley, and you are built to run and take deep shots. That's what this team is. And when you go against the grain like that, good things don't happen. So,
I'm wondering if I can take the way what you're saying, though. I don't know, man. I think, I think he's gotten so much scrutiny, right, in the beginning. And
that
I understand
with the nature of the job, though. I mean, I think that
you talk about remember you talked about the art of play calling, right? Like, is he
the art
getting
of play calling is a thing that Patullo will never have like Kellen Moore, though. He's never going to be that guy. You either have it or you don't. He's not developing the ability to call plays better. Is he getting better on the job? Of course he is. I would hope so. Otherwise, they probably would have switched off of him by now, just like they did Desai in 2023. But he's doing enough to retain the job. He's also like Sirianni's best friend. So I don't think we're going to see from the media standpoint if he's failing or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think that they're doing a good job because, in my opinion, to make a coordinator change, unless you're handing off the play, the play sheet, I think that's silly. Like Andy Reid used to give off play calling all the time, to finish a game or whatever it was, and it was never a big deal. It was just he just did it. So just change some things internally. Don't make it a whole fiasco and keep it pushing. I think right now, maybe they're taking a more whole approach as a staff to kind of take a hold of the offense and just letting Vic do what he does, which I think they should be doing regardless. I mean, Sirianni doesn't need to worry about what's going on Vic's side of the ball because they've got it handled.
For sure.
So get involved in the offense, come together as a group, and try to not necessarily recreate what happened last year, but use the things that have worked over the years and adapt and move forward to what is being put in front of you from the defense.
Yeah, I'm still on the side of giving him at least a little bit, right? Because I think that the offense has taken a little bit of a turn. They're getting a little bit more creative, a little bit more motion. When's the last time we seen that?
They were doing the shovel passes to begin the year, man. It wasn't like any of this stuff wasn't in the playbooks. They've done this stuff since
timing of the
2021, man. They've done the same plays. I'm
not saying they haven't, but it's to me, like, I think it's going to like you said, the art of play calling. It's the timing of the call. Like it's the right
Of
call at the
course,
right
of
time.
course, and he can
That's
get
what I'm
better at
seeing
game
better
flow.
right now.
His game flow, in my opinion, is improving.
Right.
He's not so stuck to whatever was written down for the week. He seems to be free balling a little bit better. You know what I mean? He seems to just kind of be just going with the game. But who's to say that someone on that staff is not telling him, "Yeah, call this. Yeah, call that.
Yeah, I mean, you could be
All right,
you
call
could be
this.
right.
All right, call that."
You
I mean, who's
absolutely
to
could be
say?
right.
We don't know that. And I just think that the job, especially in this city, because we're not turning over the head coach and we're not turning over the quarterback, we're not turning over the DC, all eyes point to the offensive coordinator. And he's just getting he's got a target on his back, man. It is what it is. And I think that going into this offseason, if they lose in the first round or whatever it may be, all of a sudden all darts are back to the guy. So I just, I can't. I mean, even if the defense has a bad game, we don't yell at Vic. We're not mad at Vic. No one's mad at Vic. Vic's good. Vic's immune right now. He's like Jim Schwartz.
Vic's
He's good. He's good.
He won a Super Bowl.
Jim Johnson. He's good. He's good forever. He's old. He's good.
Yeah. For sure.
Good on him. But
absolutely,
we crave this McVay to appear in our staff, and it's not going to happen. Not when you consistently win like this. The Rams were not good when they got him. You know what I mean? Like they had to be bad to get that guy. Our guy, in all that sense, is Sirianni, and I think that as much gets thrown at him as he's not this play caller, he's not an offensive mind, he's not a defensive mind, he's just a team morale guy, blah, blah, blah. The report was, whether it was put out by the team or whatever, that the guy got more involved in the process. And all of a sudden, the process looks a little bit more.
It looks more fluid to me.
It looks more like an NFL offense should.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a high school offense. And then the first game, our quarterback was uncomfortable and made bad plays. In the second game against a bad team, he got it right. Now, the next game, we're playing a feisty division opponent with a feisty defense, but he should do the same thing. And he just needs to build on that.
Yeah. No, I agree. Let's go on the offensive side of the ball. You kind of talked about that. I think one guy that's kind of been, I don't know, surprising, but it's a contract year, so I guess it's really not surprising. Goddard.
Yeah.
Moving forward today in obviously contract year, leading the tight ends and touchdowns. He has damn near half of Jalen Hurts' touchdowns. Probably should have half because he dropped one right in his hands. Somehow stayed in that contract year healthy, like they all do when it's time to really ball. And he's been balling. I won't knock him for anything else but the respect that he's done this year. I've always been a critic of his because he can't stay healthy, but of course, contract year, he stays healthy on his way to double-digit touchdowns. So I put this out to you, bro, and I put to those everybody watching. And thank you all those. I see people jumping in and out. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, all that good stuff wherever you are. Follow us on all social media platforms of Money Pot Sports Podcast. Do we need Dallas Goedert?
I mean,
the body of work. The
rest of the year, or like moving forward. I mean, you think?
Like just in general, like is he an integral part of this offense moving forward? Is he an integral part to Jalen Hurts being Jalen Hurts moving forward? Is he interchangeable?
I think it's a damn shame that they got their mojo the way his contract aligned. I think it really is. Because over these past 2 years, outside of the injuries last year, I think we can both agree Goddard was crucial to the Super Bowl run. He led the team in receiving in the playoffs. I mean, he had the touchdown against the Saints, or the big play against the Saints that kind of set up everything.
Yep.
Goddard he's a guy in that room. I think that Goddard was undervalued league-wide because of his injuries. I also think the price on Goddard from the Eagles side was a little high.
Just went higher.
Well, I mean, I just think that, with age and everything and what kind of money he wanted, they settled in a similar sense to Josh Sweat. And I think you're right. I think he capitalizes. I think he goes and gets paid. Mark Andrews just getting paid by the Ravens doesn't help Goddard's or the Eagles side of things when it comes to Goddard's contract. But as a blocker in what they do in the run game, as well as the pass game when he's not involved, he's a dude, man. He really is. And I think that Goddard's one of the most underappreciated players on this roster over the years. I really think he is. And, you know, when you make these money decisions and you go to throw away a guy like Gardner Johnson, who he's talked about on the back end, you know, it sure would be nice to have that safety watching him do what he does in Chicago. We've said it over the years, you know, that it's Isaiah Rodgers, you know, or Darius Slay. It sure would be nice to have that guy. I don't think we would have had an answer without Goddard, just because of the way the roster's set up. Calcaterra is not that guy, so the drop-off from Goddard to Calcaterra and every other dart they threw at that position did not work out. The second best tight end on the team is Cam Latu, and he's coming on pretty strong. And the fact that he was picked up out of free agency from the Niners on a futures contract, so he's kind of on like an undrafted kind of deal in a sense. Not like that, but it's a futures deal. So they have a bit of control over him at a really good price. And I just think that moving forward, he's going to be the toughest decision just because of age and value. Like you said, his value is undeniable. He is one of the best receivers, and he is the third option on the team passing-wise. I think they got a little cute with the Barkley stuff, and they kind of thought that they were going to be able to just run their way to a championship again. And I think that they got out of the way of remembering that you need that tight end to either block or be that guy in the passing game to be that check down. Yeah. And this year he's been that guy. The running game has not worked. The passing game hasn't worked. And who has flourished? It's been a healthy Dallas Goddard.
Very strong argument there. I've always thought that Calcaterra has a knack to get open, but like you said, in the blocking
he can't block. He's a slow receiver. You know what I mean? He's a bona fide slot receiver. So, you know, you can't rely on that guy in the NFL. That guy's great in college, but not everybody's Brock Bowers.
Yeah, of course.
Brock Bowers can also block really well. So
and when Goddard in that blocking, especially when they do a lot of the zone and stretch stuff, you know, he's definitely necessary.
He's really good on the pulls.
He's a big body too.
He is. He's a big guy, man, and he's strong. And he, you know, and part of his injuries are that he plays violent. But I think you have to appreciate that. Yeah,
he kind of runs. He runs violent. I think is really what it. You know, what I mean, he's decent after the catch, especially coming from Ertz, right, Mr. Fall down.
I mean, in my opinion, Goddard is. I think he's a better overall tight end than Zach Ertz. I think Zach Ertz is the best tight end we've had, but I think he's a better overall blocker and everything that goes into it. I think that if he would have stayed healthy, there's a chance Goddard probably could have surpassed him. But Ertz's receiving ability and his knack to get open is just it's second to none. It's Kelsey-like. You know what I mean? I mean, the fact that he's done it to where he's at. I mean, it took a torn ACL to take him from being the best receiver on the Commanders in a down year, but probably had more yards.
And even with Wentz loved Ertz, so that was.
But I think that's kind of what I was saying earlier is this mesh between Hurts and Goddard has kind of been coming on, and should that have been looked at more? Or are we going to talk about that down the road as, Hurts or Brown and
Smith?
You're
talking about a lot of touchdowns, man. He's going to have 10 touchdowns, right? And Hurts only has 20.
And the design to him is like, I thought it was funny. One of the guys I follow, he asked a simple question. Why can't you shovel the ball to AJ or Devontae? Why does it go to Dallas every time? And I think it's because, just it's easier to get him in that position to shovel the ball. It's a Chiefs type play. It's a West Coast offense.
For sure.
He's been ran in the NFL for years.
He used to run it to Westbrook all the time.
Yeah, the Chiefs run the same thing to Kelsey. It's a very common play in the league. I think it's not used as much to date, but it's a common play.
Yeah.
But I think the question being posed is okay. Why not put Brown in motion or Smith in motion? I just think the answer is that they're not really that kind of player. They're not Tyreek Hill. They're not, they're not Brian Westbrook in the open field. They're great players. They're great wide receivers. But in that position, I think that play is best suited for Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we definitely need him. You know what? I think we definitely need him now that I'm thinking more, because I was on the other side of this, but now that I'm thinking about it more, you can pick games this year where he was just the the
He had been, but
confidence.
last year was more important, dude. He really in that playoff run. If you think about it, you go
Look at
back
these numbers.
Brown and Smith had the highlights, but Goddard was the guy in that playoff run.
Chain mover.
He's and we've always complained about Hurts and the check down. He finally found the freaking check down, and he's in a contract year. He won't throw to the running backs. We're never going to ask him to do that because every time he does it, he throws in the dirt. So you can't ask him to do that. But, God, he can check it down to that tight end with the best of them. But you can't, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, the first 7 games, he had 7 touchdowns, right? And then he had 2 touchdowns this past game. They went on their run where he really wasn't part, the whole AJ kind of saga a little bit there, getting AJ more involved in the offense. And then, it was Goddard who took the hit, right? It really wasn't Smith when you noticed that because Goddard would have a couple catches. So it was the targets that were going to Goddard started going to, AJ. But these last 2 games, I mean, you look at the numbers, 14 receptions, 148 yards, and 2 touches, and 17 targets. 17 targets and 14
numbers.
catches.
They're great numbers.
Pretty
His
solid.
run in the playoff last year was fantastic.
Yeah.
Marcus posed a great question here. Pull that up. That's a fantastic question. I think that's the way that the fans would like to see that. But how do you feel about this? AJ has to agree to do it. He has to want to do that.
No, you can put Brown in motion, fake blocking the edge during a fake stretch.
Because Goddard runs in motion, they shovel it. So you could stack them, you know what I mean, and leave Goddard in line, pull AJ for the motion. Now the defense would shift because it's AJ. Maybe that's it, but you could still hit.
I mean, it's kind of on the edge player, right? Because some of those plays do get blown up if you have a edge who can get upfield really fast.
BG blows a lot of those up.
You know what I mean? Like even though I'm not the biggest Nolan fan, but Nolan would blow that play up easily.
He's very good at that. Nolan's very disciplined.
Yeah, like Nolan would get upfield fast. So you got to know that you got to have an edge guy who's not disciplined and put him in a position.
You don't run that against Max Crosby. We'll put it to you like this. You don't run that against Max Crosby. But
hell no.
But the Commanders, I'd love to see you try that against them.
Yeah. I know. I mean, it's a little too cute for me. Let AJ be AJ. Let him go dominate somebody on the outside and does what he does. And to your point, like that ball right down the middle. I think Marcus had another point. Issue. Adding a little slight tease to the offense, but the thing that he talked about, more crossing routes are happening.
Yep.
Attacking the middle a little bit more is happening. So and that's what I was kind of going back to, like the whole Kevin Patullo thing was just like you're starting. Whether it's somebody in his ear, whether he had a hallelujah moment, or whatever the situation may be, the flow of the offense is getting and catching a groove really at the right time.
Well, yes. I think both sides of the ball coming off this game have nothing but things to build on. Like, I mean, it's stack the days. This is just take this win, put it over the Chargers game, stack on top of it. But I think one thing, Nate, that I think you could kind of put a little bit more on is just about what, we don't have to go too deep into it, but Hurts has trouble throwing over the middle, some would assume due to his height, right? He's 6'1", and we have the biggest offensive line in the league. So you have 2 guards that are 6'6", he's 6'1", there's 5 inches there. Cam Jurgens is the only visual. So technically throwing down the middle would be harder for him as opposed to a 6'6" Tanner McKee, right? In theory, if we're getting basic with it. So these routes over the middle, they're not only complicated for the quarterback, but they're also complicated for the defense because now when they're running zone, which a lot of these checks against the Raiders were in zone, we're now crossing zones. So guys get freed up when you're meshing things together, right? And they've ran a few mesh concepts, which I think, in my opinion, the offense should be a lot more based on. I think they should be, instead of more Colts style, spread the field out and, the Edgerrin James kind of Peyton Manning thing, I think they should be a lot more like the Brady style. I understand the personnel is different, but I think that we should run a much more Josh McDaniels kind of offense and keep things real tight, get cute with Barkley and the tight ends, and run crossers, run mesh concepts, dig routes, less hitch routes, like less hitch routes. That's the thing that I want to see none of. I cannot stand the all hitch routes. Like I'd rather run verticals the entire thing. But yeah, I think this is perfect. Like I want more sit downs from Smitty. I'd rather see AJ clear out and Smitty sit down. You know, like Smitty needs to be that guy, or Goddard. You can interchange between the two of them. They both can do it fantastically. Dotson's a great clear out guy. I just think that they have the personnel to do what they want to do. I think that we're finally seeing them execute it against the Raiders, which put an asterisk next to it.
Trash.
The Chargers were also the second best pass defense in the NFL. While they don't have a couple of Darrelle Revises back there, Derwin James is that guy. So, you know, let's put some respect on bro's name. Like they are not a half-ass defense. Like the Chargers are good. Jesse Minter runs an insane program out of that defense. I mean, Harbaugh's defenses their offense are usually run heavy, but their defenses, they continually are great. And I think that it's really good to see Hurts run through the brick wall like he has. You know, the issues that he had with the Chargers game, he talks about brushing them off his shoulder. In my opinion, in his past, we've kind of seen those linger, and he's gotten more conservative, but he let it rip. I understand it was 12 out of 15. I get that. But he let it rip. And it was that throw to AJ, I think, was the cherry on top, where I really, you thread the needle through the seam into what ends up being a triple coverage. The guys were out of place. You let it rip. I'm not sure if he signaled to it, if he did the little pistol go, but it looked like a guy that was in full control of what was going on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. That was a good ball to AJ right there, wide open. Good route. Like I said, everything flowed. And you talked about Jalen, right? Bringing up, kind of Jalen Hurts right now. And the one thing that we're seeing, and you see the good and the bad of that with Jalen Hurts, is should they run Jalen more, right? We saw some RPO concepts came back a little bit more. We saw Jalen able to do some things with the ball, just a threat from a running perspective, not just have him sitting back there in shotgun and just throwing the ball, but just to know that Jalen Hurts still has, some legs back there and he can still hurt you with his legs. He obviously got kind of caught trying to, kind of wiggle and try to shake somebody, and his leg got caught.
Devin White on that.
Yeah,
his buddy.
Yeah. So I mean, that was obviously, it looked like he got caught, and then he got up a little, gimpy, but obviously he finished.
Then he threw the AJ touchdown after that, so I was okay.
Yeah. So, but to the point of, should we be running Jalen more, because that is what got us back to the Super Bowl last year, and him being a threat as a runner, whether it's 3 yards, 5 yards, or he breaks one for 15, changes his offense's complexity and identity altogether.
I think the only thing I'd say is I agree on all notes above, except I think they're trying to be more like 22 than 24. I think that with Jalen running more, Jalen did not. He ran a good amount last year, but it was less because Barkley was so successful.
Yeah.
So I think that they're aiming for more of 2022, because 2022, Jalen's legs freed up everything in front of him. It freed up the run game for Miles Sanders, who had a career year. It freed up the passing game. A lot of the routes that we're seeing that are challenged now, if you can go back to 2022, you can watch some highlights. Those guys were wide open. So I think that the run more Jalen, that's up to Jalen. It's well documented. You can see it online. It's all over wherever you want to see. Designed runs are, because of his injuries, don't seem to be the thing that he wants to do more than less kind of a deal. And I think that that's perfectly normal for a guy in his stage in the league. Wants to protect himself a little bit more, which I think is perfectly fine. But I do think you're right. I think his legs are crucial for this train to keep going like it's going. If he's not willing to put his body on the line for this team, which I know seems like normal football, but again, where he's at in his career, coming off Super Bowl MVP, he's been paid, He wants to be great and he wants to win championships, but he now realizes that it takes him. And I think it more exemplifies the fact that this isn't just Jalen and his toys. You know what I mean? This isn't all the Lamborghinis in the garage for Jalen Hurts. Sure, he's got a lot of nice cars in that garage, but he'll drive anyone like he stole it. And I think that this dude really fuels everything we have going forward. And when he's bad, we're bad, offense and defense. But when he goes, we go. And, it's corny, but rain, sleet, or snow, Eagles trained to go. He deemed that early, but he continues to shut guys like me and you up. And I know we're not of the usual suspect, but he continues to just time after time, he'll put something on tape that is just ungodly. And in the next game, it's like, all right, you did everything you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
You walked away with a win handedly, the way you were supposed to win that game. I mean, shutout or not, they should have won that game by more than 17 points. I mean, I think we can both agree that they should have won that game.
Yeah. I mean, from the betting perspective, I wouldn't have told anybody to bet the Eagles, but I think it was telling that.
That number was ridiculous. But in the NFL, that number is ridiculous. But in theory,
it was telling that, after 3 losses, that they were still favored by well over double digits.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
I mean, you're talking almost 2 touchdowns going to kickoff.
Yeah,
so
it kind of told you where they felt that this team was versus the Raiders. But, I think you made some kind of interesting points about that. I think the one thing that you talked about is where he's at in his career, as we see one dynasty ending in terms of the Chiefs and ours maybe not even kicking off or looking to. I think part of that legacy is there, like kind of what you were kind of talking about in terms of championships, in terms of, where he's at, kind of really like hitting that prime stride, wanting to show that he can beat you with his mind, wanting to show you. I think Marcus kind of alluded to this part, right? But wanting to see if he can beat you from the line of scrimmage as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Doing all the things that checks the box.
This one kills me.
What'd you say?
I said, just so Marcus knows, this one kills me, dude. Like they have to be doing it on purpose. And
for sure.
From what I've heard, this is not like some intel. This was Adam Kaplan inside the Birds. Apparently, it's not on purpose. So the late play calls are apparently not clock management based. They are just.
I think it's Jalen that he needs that long to assess what is the coverage is. Because sometimes coverage
the reason
the clock
is so close to the snap is because of the added motion that they have this year. There's a lot more motion.
Yeah.
And I don't think he wants the offense to move until the defense gets set, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think he waits a little bit longer for them to really get, and then he tells you to go. And if you notice, it's like, like Marcus said, it's 3, 2, 1, 0 snap. I mean, it's very. And
you always hear that one person, same voice, yelling 3. Always yelling the clock. Through the TV.
It's not great, but in 2023, they didn't show a sign of life. They did not show a sign of life at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting to go into this. This is 2018, man. And the crazy part is, do you remember in 2018 who they beat in the first round of the playoffs? Do you remember what historic event happened for them to even have the chance to get a shot back at the Saints after the Saints beat them by like 40 earlier in the year?
Was that the Bears? Bears with the double doink Bears?
Yep.
Yeah. Who was that? What was that dude's name? The kicker, because he was here. He was in Philly, and then he went to Chicago. Was it Park? Yeah, it was Parky.
Cody Parkey. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking Dicker, but it's not Dicker. Even though
Dicker just killed us with the Chargers. Yeah.
Yeah, Dicker's a beast
Dicker's
now.
Fucking awesome. Dicker's fucking awesome. If I had to choose between Cameron Dicker and Jake Elliott today, I'm sorry, Jake. I love you, man, but I would take Cameron Dicker all day long.
Yeah. He's been booting it all crazy. So,
but I mean, I think you would agree with me. The vibes of this team give off more of 2018. The gas tank's running low, but they've got a little something in them.
They do. They do. You see it there, and then when you look at the landscape, the NFC, I mean, any given Sunday, but I mean the injuries, right, late to big time
I mean,
players.
I,
You
I
know,
I do believe the Rams are a better team. I
yeah,
do.
we talked
The
about this.
Rams
I
are a
don't
better
think this
football
team can
team.
beat the.
I
I
don't
don't
think they can
think it can beat
again.
the
Again,
Rams.
like I just said earlier about the Bills and the Pats, you need to beat me to say you can't do it. You know what I mean? Like it
This is
just
true, and they beat the Rams earlier this year. So
so they have they have a solid upper hand right now. And Commanders just shut down Jaden Daniels for the year.
yeah,
So it's the Mariota show,
yeah,
who they know very well.
yep,
So those games are going to be feisty. I don't want anybody to think that those games are
yeah.
supposed
NFC
to go
East,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
still an
no,
NFC
it's
matchup for
dogfights.
sure.
It's going to be
Yeah,
dogfights.
it's gonna be a fight.
But I genuinely think they can come out of that pretty positive, win or loss to the Bills. I really do. The Cowboys losing to the Vikings was a blessing.
6-7, 6-7.
Oh, gosh. Dude, I'm younger than you. I don't even understand that. I can't. My buddy's son did it to me the other day. I was like, I'm looking at him like this. I'm like, dude, what are you? I remember the monkey nut celebration. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Big, you know, but golly, man, I don't know.
That's funny. I know. I just lost all our viewers when I said that. So my bad. But I think it's a great transition, right? To now the big, kind of, I think overreaction that's happening right now in the media and the kind of sum up everything we talked about. And I think you kind of said it, earlier today.
The Eagles trained to go. You feel me? Hey, raise the snow. Raise the snow. There you go.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is,
Are the Eagles back?
all I'm gonna say is, that boy was hungry with no beard, man. When he shaved that beard, he was different.
Right. Yeah.
When he shaved that beard, he was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are the Eagles back?
No, they're not. They're not. No, they're not back. They're not what they were. That thought of a dynasty and all that, it's out the door. But I do believe that they have a chance to do something. I think they really do. I think the team is. I think the team is so talented to the point that I don't. Like I said, I think it's gonna be 2018, man. I think they're gonna. Sirianni always talks about a heavyweight boxing match. I think they're gonna heavyweight boxing match their way into the playoffs, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe the Rams smack us out in the NFC Championship. You never know. If we
I think the momentum will be the Bills if they beat the Command. I mean, I feel pretty good that they beat the Commanders. I don't even know what the line is. I haven't looked that far ahead. But I feel they'll beat the Commanders. But I think the benchmark, right? That's the kind of revenge game for Buffalo too. I think they remember that game. What was that? A year ago or 2 years ago? No, it was last year. No, it was 2 years ago.
It was 2023. That was the last win that kind of put them over the top. The rest of it was downhill.
Yeah. So, and I think that same scenario could happen. They beat Buffalo at Buffalo and get on this little bit of a run, having win 3 to 4 games coming into the playoffs, because I believe at the last game they're not going to want to take that loss. They're not. I don't know.
Unless the division's clenched. If the division's clenched, then they're just going to play the backups in Week 18.
So let's talk about that. Do we know? I don't even know. That's a good call. I didn't even look up the scenarios for them to clinch the division, because technically it's a 1% chance that Dallas gets in, right? So hold on, is it a win and they're in, and a Dallas loss? It would have to be, right? That would have to be the first scenario.
Well, they have 2.5 games on Dallas now with 3 games left, so I believe so. 1 win and they're good.
Yeah. So when and they clinch the division against Washington.
Maybe
with a Dallas loss. I think Dallas.
They might need like a win and Dallas loss. That might do it. Yeah. And I think Dallas has a little bit of a pancake game.
Who do we know who Dallas has? I'm about to check.
Google the Dallas Cowboys.
Nobody looks at they got the Chargers.
Yeah, they'll probably, knowing the Cowboys, they'll beat them 45-3. But that's just what Dallas does.
Chargers, Commanders, and Giants. I mean, technically they could win out. and it'll force the Eagles to play. Um,
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. They
Possibly.
could. That's a very possible scenario. I
Yeah,
think it really could happen.
right.
Like you said, I mean, this Bills game is either going to be worth everything or nothing.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that hype train of the scenario, just like 2 years ago when they beat Buffalo, I think that same scenario could come full circle. If they beat Buffalo, then you'll start hearing about how the champs are here, and you can't count them out until it's all said and done, which is very 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 true. Looking at the standings, I'm sorry, as we sit here
This is
right
the
now.
last time the Bears were in the playoffs with 2018. I know we can't look that up, but I'm just curious. I don't know if they've been in the playoffs since 2018. So the fact
Bears,
that they can get in the playoffs and we're coming off a Super Bowl run, that's NFL at its finest.
yeah, nah. Right now we have Rams are first, Bears second,
Bears
Eagles
second,
third. I
Bucks
don't know
fourth.
how Carolina fucked that up, but they did
Yeah,
against the Saints. Tampa's fourth, and then you got Seahawks. I think Niners are really scary, and then Green Bay just took I think a monster hit with Parsons.
yeah,
That was
they
their
they
Super Bowl
can't.
ticket. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was their Super Bowl
that's
ticket. Right now, if I'm looking at it in terms of the NFC and just kind of dark horse. Um,
don't want to play the. Yeah, I'll put it to you like this: we don't want to play the Seahawks, and we do not want to play.
Seahawks don't bother me too much because I don't know if I believe.
That defense, Mike McDonald's defense scares me. I don't know. They've
Yeah,
got a lot going on over there.
I don't believe in Sam. I don't like. There's something
I
about
think that we
Sam.
can fold Darnold. I just don't know if the offense can perform enough against that defense. And I'm
Right.
just saying, maybe we're hitting our stride. I don't know.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I don't know. I would say Tampa. Tampa's been our kryptonite. But I don't think we'll see really. We
Won't
probably
see
won't
Tampa
see
because they're going to
Tampa.
be a division winner. So it would be right
Yeah.
now we're playing. We're playing the Niners right now, right?
Green Bay. We'll be playing Green Bay.
With
Green.
three plays six or
Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. You're right. It'd be the Niners, which I
yeah,
don't
two
like. I
plays.
don't like either.
No, I don't like a matchup with the Niners round one. I could see us losing that game.
Yeah, I don't. I don't
100%.
like. Yeah, I don't like that either. I think like quietly the Niners are 10-4.
Yeah, I mean
You know what I mean? Like
they
just
played a
quietly
soft
10
schedule
and
because
four.
of division lineups or whatever. I don't care. The Niners are not a team that I want to play.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah. Well,
offense that scares me.
even with all their injuries, they're like just
Yeah,
quietly 10-4 for some
yeah, I'm
some
not.
way somehow.
That's not the team you want to mess with.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, I mean, we'll see how it shakes out. I still think Rams
Saturday game.
kind of come
We got
out.
a Saturday game this week, 5 p.m.
Is there a Saturday game?
Yeah, the Eagles are playing the Commanders at 5 p.m.
Oh, okay. Oh man,
Yeah,
I didn't even know it was 2 Saturday games.
yeah, we got flexed. We suck so bad. We got flexed.
Oh wow, that's Chicago Green Bay game in Chicago. Wow.
That's big. And then you got this just lowly little Commanders Eagles game.
Yeah, right. It's like the appetizer right
Funny,
before
I got
the
a
main
family
meal.
reunion that day, and I already told my
Really?
mom.
Family
Oh yeah.
reunion?
Oh, I told him I was like, look, dude. I was like, I'm gonna be heading out a little early. I gotta.
I'm gonna be trash, mom. So
I said, look, dude. No, I have that before the game, so I got to go to that all
yeah,
day and then slither out for the game, and I'll be like, look, dude, like I can't miss a snap. Like I knew. I'm telling you, dude. When the backups got in, I was so happy just to see.
yeah.
It. And I want to see the reps. I want to see live NFL reps. Like preseason's cool, but when you actually get in, like
Yeah,
that's just it's different. You can really go back and see how some guys fare. And like you see a guy like Cam Latu that's moving starting defenders off the ball, and it's like, yeah, I would really like to see that guy, get more tight end two snaps than watching
yeah.
Frank Calcaterra get mauled by any defender in the league.
Yeah, Eagles are favored by 7 in that game. So we will see against the Commanders. We will see how everything shakes out. Right now, we didn't do any really updates, but right now Steelers are up on the Dolphins 7-3.
Shit,
Actually,
man.
I like the Dolphins this game, so we'll see if the Dolphins can come out of a little bit of the funk they're in and get some
They're a
going.
4-game win streak, man. They're kind of
Yeah, I like the Dolphins in this
hold on
game.
for dear life. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't, the
I thought
McDaniels to Philly talk is, has simmered so thoroughly.
Yeah, and I
If
thought
you,
I thought
first of
I
all, one
thought
little
Pittsburgh
take
got
though.
lucky against
If you
Baltimore.
think that McDaniel would work with Sirianni, you're crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't get that at all.
McDaniel with Howie, let alone that's he didn't even like Vic. He didn't get along with Vic.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
yeah, that doesn't work out well. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Always good to talk birds. Always good to talk after a victory because the last couple of weeks have been complete and utter ass. If we don't see you, which I think we will see you next week, right before the
We
holidays.
should, yeah. Should be
Yeah,
good.
but if not, happy holidays for those who've watched us. I love everybody with the new comments, new faces, people jumping in and out. Appreciate you. Always hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow, all that good stuff. I'm Moss Money. That's Ernie B. This is Victory Monday. We will see you guys next week. Go Birds.